Marcus, a hired mercenary, is en route to the long-awaited deep space meeting with battlecruiser Vortex. He's relieved to finally deliver and collect payment for the shipment of black market arms collecting dust in his cargo hold. His ship, the Indicator, travels at faster than light speed. During his flight, Marcus gazes out the ship's viewport to the streaks of stars whizzing by, contemplating on the state of his life as he longs for something more. The ship's navigation system interrupts his thoughts, warning Marcus that his destination is approaching. He preps the ship for the drop out of hyperspace. But Marcus has jumped into the middle of a fight. As he sees the Vortex taking a pounding from the Onyx, the capital ship much larger than the Vortex and the Indicator combined. The proximity alerts blare, forcing Marcus to take another look through his viewport. There, he finds a large volley of missiles heading straight for his ship's starboard side. Then, without any forethought, Marcus reacts with a hard bank in the opposite direction, causing the missiles to miss the Indicator by mere inches. Marcus is relieved, but the feeling is short-lived as he sees the missiles collide into the Vortex, causing a blast so intense its concussive force damages the Indicator. Aboard the massive bridge of the Onyx, Captain Athena Armstrong and Lieutenant Donald Shepard stand amongst the ship's personnel. The crew scurry about doing their individual jobs keeping the ship in flight. Meanwhile, the two officers stare into the ship's display screen, looking over the carnage they have just created.
Careful, Athena. You almost hit Marcus. If he dies, then this entire party was for nothing.
Let me worry about the strategy, Lieutenant. You just make sure your striker is ready for takeoff.
Yes, ma'am.
Donald does an about-face and heads toward the shuttle bay. Back in the Indicator, Marcus is frantically trying to restore the ship's power. After bypassing a faulty circuit, the ship's panel lights come alive. He checks the status of the hyperdrive and notices that it's still offline, making it impossible to engage in a hyperjump. And if that weren't bad enough, he receives a hail from the Onyx.
Marcus Ledeck, this is Captain Athena of the ISF Onyx. Surrender now or...
Marcus terminates the transmission. He activates the computer's navigation system and scours its holographic maps for a suitable planet to land his freighter. Finally, he finds one, inputs the coordinates, and throttles the damaged Indicator to a speed it can safely muster.
Not so fast, Marcus.
Marcus recognizes the voice over his comm unit. He takes a glance at his radar and discovers that Donald is in fact tailing him in a small striker.
Donald, I knew you were around here somewhere.
Of course. You didn't think I'd let you deliver all those goodies to Tarek, did you?
Come on, Shep. That's how it always goes down.
Your evasion skills are legendary, but you're still a small fish. Just give us Tarek and be done with the Rhine Shield for good. You must be tired of all this by now.
Marcus takes a moment to reflect on Donald's question, because he was tired and wanted to leave the life of a mercenary, but not like this. Marcus jets off, leaving Donald behind.
Suit yourself.
And with that, Donald punches the throttle. The lightning speed of the striker cuts the distance in seconds.
Lieutenant, our sensors indicate best approach will be from his 6. The freighter has no rear armament.
Roger that.
Donald engages his weapon sensors and targets the Indicator's rear thrusters. Back in the Indicator, Marcus receives a warning signal which indicates his ship is being targeted for missile fire. In response, he sets the Indicator to autopilot, and once he's absolutely certain that the ship won't veer off course, he leaves the small bridge and races to the rear of the freighter. Once completely in the hull's rear, he climbs a ladder that takes him to the top of the ship. There, he buckles into a durable black chair, and with a flip of a switch, he activates the mechanical hydraulics. In that moment, Marcus smirks to himself knowing that no one is expecting his latest modification. Back in the striker, Donald can see exactly what Marcus has initiated, as 2 huge caliber railguns rise from the rear of the Indicator, consequently making any missile shot sent from his striker futile, since they'd be picked off immediately by the large cannon's fire. Marcus opens fire. Donald conducts a series of death-defying maneuvers, barely escaping the barrage of laser fire coming his way. Marcus just can't seem to get a hold of Donald's position, but he keeps the blast coming. Then, with a mixture of skill and pure luck, Donald sends a few shots that manage to clip the Indicator's tail wing. Marcus is left with no choice but to retreat back to the bridge to manually take control of the freighter. Fortunately, through the ship's viewport, he sees that he's now entering the planet's atmosphere, which buys him some time because Downell is unable to fire during atmospheric entry. Marcus buckles himself in and initiates the atmospheric entry heat shields.
Warning, atmospheric entry heat shields cannot engage.
Damn it.
Marcus knew the dangers of atmospheric entry, which could potentially create heats of up to 3,000 degrees, but he also knew that there was no time to repair his shields. So his only choice was to make the fiery entrance and hope that the indicator endures. Downell cannot believe what he's seen.
You crazy bastard.
In the indicator, Marcus does all he can to hang on, as everything around him literally becomes hot.